And here we are, live. It's Croc Talk with Chris Croc. Dude, I'm getting ready for the show. I'm doing my thing, today. And then all of a sudden, all sorts of stuff comes out. The parents and the students who Wylie ISD, which has been Islamicized, they are absolutely groveling over. They love Islam. They want to proselytize it and share it. They lie at Wylie ISD. I'm not trying to be nasty, but this is how bad it is. They are attacked. I have never, and I've been doing talk radio for like 20-something years, I have never seen a school board talk back or strike back at you in public statements. This is the funniest thing in the world. I will show you and talk about that in just a little bit. It's really unreal. Also, one of the other people that spoke at the Wylie ISD School Board about a week and a half ago about the Islamization of Wylie ISD is a man named Kyle Katie Sims. He's going to join me in just a minute. Because he was flipped off by the principal, Tiffany Dillon, who was wearing that hijab. I'll show you the picture. You've seen it before, I believe. He was flipped off by her husband at a school board meeting, and Wylie ISD was finally confronted by Kyle about the principal flipping off his freaking wife. So and I'm not playing a victim here. I'm just saying they're attacking me for speaking the truth. They're attacking other people for speaking the truth at the school board meeting, and it seems like they need a third school board meeting because these people, all they want to do is get nasty and attack you. I have never seen this. I have been on the air doing talk radio in Madison, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Middle Georgia, Middle Missouri, Jefferson City, Columbia, Missouri, and Dallas, Fort Worth. I have never seen this. This is wild. So we'll get into that. Also, more news on the Epic City, the Islamic City being struck down today in court. Some stuff about it. Dallas City Hall is under a massive scandal. It's got so much worse with the city manager. I think Miss Wokula, Kimberly Beiser-Tolbert, is on her way out because of what I'm seeing now. Not right now, but I think she's going to go. This is really bad. This could be criminal based on some of the stuff I'm seeing, or at least it's totally unethical. So we'll get into all that. Also, Jim Dutton, who owns Due West Foundation Plumbing and Repair. He's one of my sponsors. Jim Dutton on what you need to do. He is the king of Texas Home Improvement. He runs the show, television and radio in Houston and Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas Home Improvement. He's going to tell us what you need to do to get ready for your home, get your home ready for spring, and all sorts of stuff. Love talking to my friend Jim. He's a blast. So all that's coming up. But first, this is Croc Talk with Chris Croc, and it is brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSPROB.com. Randy Martin, my CPA of over 9 years. He helps good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. Even if you don't even live in the state of Texas, he can help you anywhere because he is da bomb. And now let's go to our first guest because this is quite a show today. I'm going to tell you that right now, quite a hubbub of what they're doing at Wylie ISD, from all the Islamization of Wylie ISD. Let's go to my friend Kyle Katie Sims. How are you, my brother?
Man, I'm good. It's been a busy news day today.
This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Okay, Kyle, I was just mentioning that I have been doing talk radio for like over 20 years, and I did it in Madison, Wisconsin. The fur flew there, I'll tell you that. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Atlanta, Georgia, Middle Georgia, Macon, Warner Robins, and in Middle Missouri, in Jefferson City, Missouri, and 15 years in Dallas-Fort Worth. I have never seen a school board publicly lash out and attack people that speak up there and get snotty and sneery. It's the holy crap. So my headline today is Wylie ISD strikes back. Can you believe this? They're attacking you and me in after our speeches publicly. I've got it right here.
Man, it's just unbelievable, the tyranny and the denial of these school boards thinking that we're just going to sit back and take this.
So here's what happened is, in case you don't know, so Kyle speaks out he's got grandkids, he's a lifelong North Texan, so he speaks out at the school board meeting, stands up against the Islamization of Texas and other types of things, corruption and grooming of children in our schools, all sorts of stuff. So he goes and speaks like I did. We both spoke last month at the Wylie ISD School Board and again this month because nothing was done. They let 4 adult professional proselytizers from a group called Why Islam go in to Wylie East High School and proselytize in the middle of the day and pass out Qurans, hijabs, and understanding Islam. In fact, understanding Sharia booklets. In fact, I'm going to show you this, a Shahada card. I think, Kyle, you may have been the one that shared this with me, or maybe it was one of the parents, Marco Hunter or Marco Lopez. Shahada card. This is how you pray to receive Allah. This is how you become a Muslim. That was in the Qurans they're passing out. Wylie ISD is letting Islamic folks come in and proselytize to your children. And nobody was fired over this, Kyle. They claim that somebody at the front desk somehow let this woman in, let these adults come in, and that it has nothing to do with the principal. But yet one of the parents shared a form. If you bring a speaker into Wylie ISD, you have to sign. The principal has to sign off, and 2 other people have to sign off. A group leader has to sign off. Like a teacher that sponsors them. No teacher was on signing off on that because there was no teacher in charge of the Muslim Association. And number 2, the principal claims she had no. They're covering for the principal, I think, unequivocally, as if she had no knowledge.
Right.
So we speak up about that. We speak up about halal meals being served in Wylie ISD. We speak out about an 8th grade girl being handed a Quran and candy, and understanding the Quran for a young person, and tracing letters for how to trace out the Arabic so you can learn the Quran together.
Yeah.
And we also know the teachers were served Ramadan food and handed out pamphlets and books about how to teach to a Muslim child, as if there's a difference in the freaking state of Texas. And so we speak out about this, and they rip the crap out of you and me, kind of. They strike back at us, at least, in public statements. I'm going to read what they said about you and then let you respond, okay? Oh, by the way, hold on. There was another story. When you went and spoke out at Wylie ISD, the principal, I'm going to show her a picture right now, Principal Tiffany Doolin, who loves Islam and wore a hijab a year earlier before, I believe she let the Islamists in to proselytize. We don't know for sure, but that's what I believe. Here she is a year earlier, wearing a hijab, saying in all caps she loved wearing a hijab. Okay? So that woman, her husband, was at a school board meeting where you were speaking out, and he looked at you, and tell me what happened.
So back in September, I walk into the boardroom, and I'm walking up to the front row so I can record. And as I'm passing the back row, a man says, "Hey, you're Kyle Sims." And I turned around and I said, "Dude, I don't know who you are." He said, "Yeah, you do. You chased my wife and my child across Wylie East parking lot earlier today." And I said, "You've lost your damn mind. I don't even know where Wylie East High School is."
Right.
Well, I start proceeding to my seat. I get to the front. My bride is sitting there already, and she asks what happened. She turns around and looks at him, and he does this to her and sticks his tongue out at her.
So the principal of Wylie East High School, who allowed, I believe allowed, we don't know for sure, but I believe she allowed and was in support of letting adults proselytize in the school. We don't know for sure. But there she is a year earlier on the same day, World Hijab Day, saying she loved it. Her husband flipped off your wife in a school board meeting.
It was right before the meeting started, actually. Yes.
What in God's name? Listen, Kyle, I was in Madison, Wisconsin, where I was like unleashed to go nuts. And man, I did a lot of crazy stuff, and people did a lot of crazy stuff trying to come after me from school boards, city council, whatever like that. Nobody ever did this kind of crap to me. Let me read what they wrote about you and let you respond, okay?
Sure.
They want to correct your mischaracterizations and exaggerations. This is from the Wylie ISD School Board. Accountability did occur. What remains unclear about Wylie East and the Islamization was additional action the speaker believed should have taken place. So they're saying you claim there was no accountability with the Islamization, and what remains unclear is that you haven't shared additional action that you believe should have taken place. Fire the principal.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I mean, didn't you say that?
Yeah.
So the school board is saying you gave no ideas, just criticism. But you said fire the principal, right?
I think everybody did.
Yes, I did a bunch of times. Last month and this month. They also say, we are disappointed to hear that Mr. Sims' wife, here we go. That's you, Wylie ISD School Board. We're disappointed to hear that Mrs. Sims' wife experienced that behavior at the September meeting. That behavior. They don't say flipping off. While we did not witness this incident, as it occurred during the school board's executive session, we are very sorry to hear about it. We were notified of a brief verbal altercation involving 2 non-adult employee males No matter the circumstances, we expect all individuals attending district events to conduct themselves accordingly. So the principal's husband flips off your wife, and all this stuff. What do you want to say to that?
Well, basically, I told him to, and I'll be very frank. I looked at the police officer and told him if he doesn't get his ass out of the room, I'm going to kick his ass. That's exactly what I told him.
What happened after that?
They basically escorted him out of the room, and I haven't seen him since. But
go ahead.
Here's what they didn't tell you. He used to work for the district. He used to work for the district.
What did the principal
I'll have to look it back up, but I found it at one time, but I found this guy because I have some very loyal, good followers, excellent patriots, and I blasted his picture out there, and within a couple of days, somebody messaged me and says, "Here's your guy. Here he is." I even called the director of security and told him what happened, and he asked me if I wanted to pursue it at that time, and I said, "No, I'm going to give it a couple of days." Chris, they knew exactly what happened. There were 3 police officers in the room. There was other principals in the room. One of them was from Wylie High School, who I've seen his picture numerous times. There were staff in that room. They knew exactly what happened. And not one time did they come up and apologize to my wife for what they did.
This is insane.
For what they allowed to happen.
When they're in between Islamicizing the district and the children and being radically pro-Islam, they are flipping off constituents, flipping off people's wives. Now, let me get into what they said about my... Go ahead.
The book I sent you earlier today. So do we think Wylie's doing a good job with the book that we exposed today, just a couple of hours ago?
Yeah, let me show this. Well, we'll get to that in 1 second. I want to say how the Wylie ISD school board then attacked what I said. This is great. This is classic. This is that they're like trying to knife me. It's so funny. They're trying to politely shiv me, and it's great. This is comedy. These people are loons. The comments made by this speaker, that's me, do not reflect what has occurred at Wylie ISD. Yes, all the parents and all the students are lying to me about what happened. Wylie ISD does not promote, endorse, or cater to any religion. Yes, they do. We know that. They cater to Islam. We have been accused of favoring or being too closely aligned with Christian organizations. Now we're being accused of catering to Islam. Both claims cannot be true, and neither is true. Is this like a high school debate speech? What are these people doing? Wow. What is this? How many people spend how many hours putting this together to try to refute something? And what are we going to do? I'm going back next month. This is going to be fun. This is going to be like shooting fish in a barrel. This is unbelievable. It's like, you know what this is? I wrote here. This is like, well, first of all, they're being accused of catering to Islam, but they also say they're accused of catering to Christianity. Has anybody passed out a Bible at that school? Any of the schools at Wylie ISD? Has anybody? No, only Islam. Number 2, the both claims cannot be true, and neither is true. So it's like, what is this, the freaking Riddler? There's a Riddler writing this? Continuing on. I mean, this is a disgrace and a joke. This is your school district. Chris Croc's comments were difficult to follow, so I guess I just, they can't understand me. I guess I've been accused of that before, but I don't know. Maybe I'm hard to follow, but I don't think so. Was I hard to follow?
No, you were crystal clear.
This matter was addressed, and we are not going to continue revisiting a situation that was resolved nearly 2 months ago. Nothing was resolved. Nobody was fired. Nothing happened as a result of this. So we have to keep going back and going back. In 2024, they talked about Cooper Middle School mothers, Islamic proselytizing mothers provided food, Ramadan food, in the teacher's lounge for Ramadan. Staff members were never instructed, encouraged, or required to engage with or accept any materials. We showed the video. I showed the video of books and pamphlets on how to teach to Islamic students specifically. This is amazing. Outside groups may now only drop off meals or snacks. Outside groups are not permitted to meet with staff during the school day or participate in staff meetings. Only Islamic people, as we know. They continue on. The situation they wrote a book about mine. I had 2 pages here. This is great. These people, this shows we're winning. You don't write.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't write a single-spaced 1.5-page document, which is like 3 pages, if you're winning. Wow, this is. I think this is great. These people are. This is just the beginning, Kyle. Our journey is just beginning. We're going to keep going forward, my brother. This is great. Okay, here we go. Let me see. let's see here. The situation referenced involved an isolated interaction. Isolated. This is the 8th grade student passing the Quran with candy and all the stuff I talked about. The situation referenced involved an isolated interaction. Isolated. Between 2 8th grade students in which one student gave another a Quran. They're missing out the candy, the book on how to study the Quran, and Arabic, tracing stuff to learn Arabic. This was not a classroom activity, was not part of instruction, was addressed by campus administration once it was brought forward by a parent. Excuse me, it was a classroom activity. It was handed to somebody in the middle of class because, as I said in that speech, and Kyle, if they couldn't understand me, how can they be so concise and everything? How could they be so clear on all? If they didn't understand me, they sure seem to understand something. We're writing a freaking novella here. This is great.
You got a good book report.
This is great. This is great. Okay, let's continue on here. I love this. This is so much fun. Okay. The situation reference, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's also important for parents. See, now they're going to blame the parents. This is victim blaming. It's important for the parents to have ongoing conversations with their children about how to respond when they feel uncomfortable. In other words, it's your fault for your daughter feeling uncomfortable with Sharia and Qurans being handed to her in the middle of class. It's your fault. Teach your kid how to stand up to Islam while we're worshiping it. You know what I mean? What else here? Students should feel empowered to say no and seek support from a trusted adult when needed. So they want us to stand up and say no, our children, against aggressive, righteous Islamic proselytizing in their views, the Islamists. So our kids need to stand up to Islam in school while the school lets it happen. It's crazy.
Yep.
Last part. I won't drag this out too much, but halal meals. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the Wylie ISD School Board writing a novel attacking me for my speech to the school board the other day. Halal meals. They talk about cost effectiveness, feasibility, not religious designation. It was just happenstance, Kyle, that halal meals appeared on the menu. And I have that, I believe, here to put up on the screen. It's just happenstance, Kyle, that they were serving halal meals and they actually put it on the menu. Do you believe that?
Nope.
Here it is right here. Here's the menu. And if you look at the bullet points on the yellow part there in the middle towards the bottom, introduction of halal certified menu items. They're blaming the USDA and the federal government. They are putting that in there because they're catering to Islam in the school. Period. I mean, am I off on something?
I haven't heard anybody reported any other district.
I've not heard it either. God forbid. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm sure you wouldn't either if it's coming up in Plano or McKinney ISD, but I've heard nothing so far. You would know. Or Prosper, or Salina. We want to acknowledge, Wylie ISD says, in attacking me, that the menu language previously published did not accurately reflect how the item was being offered and may have caused confusion. Oh, I'm confused. What? Halal menu. I'm confused. The intent was not to promote any specific dietary practice, but rather to which I say, bullshit, was not there for a specific dietary practice, but rather to reflect our student nutrition team's effort to be inclusive.
There's the word.
There it is, inclusive. See, you are racist, xenophobe if you don't support this. And they routinely receive feedback from students and families requesting greater variety. Yes, we want halal. We want halal. Are there rallies for halal foods to be served? I don't think so. Kyle, I wanted to hit this real fast before we have my buddy Jim Dutton on coming up next to talk about, getting your home ready. I'm going to send him a quick text. He's standing by. Just like 2 minutes. Here we go. I'm sending Jim a text. He'll get on there. We'll have him up next. Then we have this book that you got a copy of this from a Wylie East High School parent. Is that correct? That's being had people reading in Wylie East High School classrooms. Is that right?
Yeah, I got it from a friend that said this is what they were having a family member read at Wylie East High School.
Let me show the picture of the book real fast, okay?
Yep.
It's called Song of Solomon from Toni Morrison, who is now the late Toni Morrison, and it's tell me why it's a bad thing. I've got some other pictures of the book. Tell me why it's a bad thing, Kyle.
Well, I've just seen maybe 4 or 5 pages of it, but man, is it pretty graphic? And it's like our kids are already brainwashed enough. They've got enough stuff going on. Why in the world are we putting this in the hands of high school students and causing more confusion and different directions. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
It's absolutely horrible.
as I look at this, Kyle, I can see some of the pictures. It talks about nipples and all sorts of sexual
Uh-huh.
stuff. I mean,
Uh-huh.
how how is it appropriate for a high school classroom to be teaching this book?
Well, it's not in my opinion. I wouldn't want my grandkids learning about that in high school. That's for the parents to teach your kids what we used to call the birds and the bees. But you know, Chris, it's all this indoctrination. It's all this. Everybody be jolly, be lucky, and do what you want to do in school, and don't learn anything. Just make sure you read all this crap that we put in front of you.
Yes.
I'm just sick of it.
Here's I'll just share a few other things here. Kind of scroll through, looking at this book from Toni Morrison that's being taught in schools. She sat this room holding her son on her lap, closed his eyelids. Imagine the sound of his sucking. Anyways, here we go. He was too young. I don't want to embarrass you, brother, but I'm going to share some of this. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, don't you get excited over this. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Humor. Okay. In late afternoon, before her husband closed his office, came home. She called her son to her, came into the room. She unbuttoned her blouse and smiled. She was too young to be dazzled by her nipples, but was old enough to be bored by the flat taste of mother's milk. Reluctantly as a chore, she felt him, his restraint, his courtesy, his indifference, which pushed her into fantasy. Lips were pulling from her, thread of light. It was as though she were a cauldron issuing spinning gold. And there's a little bit more here too, but basically it's a type of a pornographic type of book. Basically, is what you're saying.
I believe it is, man. It's from and the pages, the couple of pages I sent you is not as bad as some of the other ones I saw.
Well, we'll share
So
some more of
it's
those, and I send
yeah,
them to me so I can share it with people in the ensuing days, and that might be something we can read in front of the school board and see how they react to that too. That'll be fun. Kyle, Kyle,
absolutely.
Kyle, Katie Sims, I appreciate you. It says right there to follow you on X with your address there, and thank you for coming on today on the Chris Crock Show. Appreciate it, brother.
God bless you, brother.
All right, take care. There he goes, Kyle, Katie Sims. And we're gonna have on my friend Jim Dutton now in just a second. From Texas Home Improvement, and we're going to have a great time. I got to get this ready in real time. This is going to be a little interesting, a little fun. Let's go to, I got to set this up real fast. This is what's called live. There we go. There's Jim. And now I'm going to close that, and I'm going to put that one on there. Wait, no, wrong one. Stand by. I'm almost doing it. This is fun, doing it live. All right, so let's see, setup, overlay, and then we go to number 8. Here we go. Boom! I did it. Jim, I have never done a live transition from one guest to the other. Jim, I would like a gold star. Does Mary have a gold star that you guys have around the house for your grandchildren when they come over?
No,
How are you, Jim Dutton from Texas Home Improvement and the owner of Due West Foundation and Plumbing? How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. You know what's been fun, and I want people to. The premise of me having you on today was, I think, is to say, what do we need to do for spring to get our houses ready for spring? What are some of the things you're thinking about that we should be thinking about? Before I start, because you're an authority for home improvement. You're on in Houston at the big flamethrower there. You're on here in Dallas at the big flamethrower here. You're on TV and all sorts of great stuff. And by the way, your plumbing and foundation business is multi-generational, 3 generations of Duttons, right?
That is correct.
I love that. Your dad founded the company when in the 70s?
1978.
Did they even make foundations then, Jim? Come on, be honest with me. I'm just kidding. So 1978, and I really loved. I was at your house several years ago when my wife Faye used to work with you guys, and I loved seeing your dad there and you and your sons, and it's really a neat thing to see that business continue as a 3rd generation. So one of the neat things I've been doing is going around the house with and doing commercials for Due West Foundation and Plumbing, and I showed the big tree. People have seen the big tree that you've been telling me to get rid of for 11 years.
I saw some of the comments.
And did you see that there was one of my old arborists who used to work with you guys too at Texas Home Improvement. One of the old arborists of mine, he said, take that ivy down. So Jim, I got you telling me to tear my freaking tree down. It's massive. It's going to be $8,000 to remove it. And now I got this other arborist telling me to take the ivy down. I get no justice here.
Well, all I'm trying to do is save you some money on the foundation.
I know. That's yes, and I don't doubt that under any way, shape, or form. And then I've also showed people the water heater you replaced, and the how you have the pan that you put underneath there, and the stopper on there. What do you call it? Tell me about the water heater. What people need to do on that.
Well, water heaters. A lot of times people worry too much about having to drain them all the time.
Right.
And yes, it does help. Really, what it helps on is not building sediment in them. But unless you start draining them in the first 2 years,
right,
the sediment is there. You've pretty much already given up on it. You don't need to be worrying about draining it all the time at that point. And what does it add for you? A little bit of time on the life of that water heater, and a little bit of quietness. Because when they build up a lot of sediment, especially when you have a gas one, they crackle and pop and make all kinds of noise. It scares you.
It almost scares you sometimes, the water heater. So, but you have a flood stop that you put on there and a pan, right?
We do. Because if it starts leaking and water gets down into that pan underneath, it cuts the water supply off so that it doesn't flood the house.
When I was doing my commercial gym, I said, I don't know how many. I said, hundreds of gallons in this thing. And I go, I have no idea. I said, Jim knows. Jim, how many? I mean, obviously it depends on what size. That's also a dumb question too, because I don't know my house has probably got the average water heater in it. I don't know if you and I have ever taken notes and studied the freaking thing. How many gallons of water in a typical water heater?
You ready to be embarrassed?
Yes.
That water heater is probably 40 gallons.
Oh my gosh. I said hundreds, Jim. Hundreds! Yeah. Thousands of gallons. It's going to be Noah's flood, the ark.
But if you don't have a cutoff on it and it gets a leak, it can leak hundreds of gallons before somebody sees it.
And Jim, let me tell you this This is going to be a great story. Okay, so for you obviously you're going to be very familiar with this. So one of my buddies, he and his family, they live not too far from us. They go to church. And they go home from church. And when they left, everything was fine. When they come home, they open the garage door and water floods out. And his toilet, one of the valves had broke off, just boom, spontaneously or whatever you want to call it. I think I know why, but you tell me why that happens and what people can do to stop that. Their whole house was flooded.
Well, they actually make devices now that you can put on a whole house so that if the water seems like it's going nuts, they'll cut the water off to the house as well. But the situation that you dealt with there, as more and more stuff is made out of plastic, as it ages, it tends to stress and crack.
Right.
And the tubes that go into the bottom of the tank on the toilet, a lot of times have a plastic nut on them.
Yes.
10 years later, they tend to fail.
Yes.
The old metal ones didn't do that.
So, Jim, it's literally like plastic fatigue, I guess would be the word.
It is.
And so, Jim, you guys taught me a long time ago, and everybody needs to know this. First of all, you say always get your stuff at plumbing shops, right?
Go to a plumbing supply house, not the box store.
Right. And number two, the shank, it's called, which is the screw that goes in the base of the guts of your toilet, I call it. That is brass, and so it won't break.
Well, I won't say it won't break, but it won't corrode and rust off on you.
Liability purposes.
There you go.
And then you guys put in the quarter turns, which is much easier to turn on and off to stop the water. Yep. Okay, so why don't you tell me, because I'm interrupting you rudely here, what do people need to do right now for their homes now that spring is here in North Texas?
Well, we had the time change not long ago. You should have already gone around and changed all the batteries on your smoke alarms.
Okay.
People forget about that.
I'm not going to answer that one if I did or didn't.
Your face says it all.
I got a face for radio.
Yeah, there you go. The next thing is obviously you got to change your filters, but you need to get your system, your AC system, ready every year, spring, and fall. So, and getting it ready means having it cleaned up, having the outside unit cleaned up, checking capacitors, making sure everything is working right to avoid a breakdown later in the year. Obviously, we talk about watering the foundation all the time. You need to be getting that going if you haven't already. You're way behind.
I'm going to jump in on this real fast, if I may, sir. I cannot stress how important it is what Jim says. I mean, you taught me 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, water, to get that water deep, 5 or 6 feet down, a couple of feet wide underground, so it stops the soil from contracting and expanding underneath your home.
Exactly.
I've learned from the best. A ninja.
You can't keep it dry, but you can keep it moist and keep it expanded.
Right on.
So, and
go
that's
ahead.
what we're working on.
Yeah.
So some of the other things we got to get ready for spring. This is the time of year. Check your windows and stuff. If you're getting a lot of breezes through the windows, it's time to reseal them. Check the caulking around the windows. People forget about that, but that caulking ages, and it will start allowing water to intrude, but also your air conditioning to escape out.
Jim, what do I do? Because I have that issue. What do I do with my windows on the outside with the caulking and there's a gap? Can I just put a new caulk over the old caulk? Do I just clean it off first and then just put the new caulk over it?
Well, it depends on how big a caulking.
Let's say 1/8 of an inch
is on there right now. Most of the time, what you want to do is pull the old caulking out.
Okay.
Clean everything up real good, and then re-caulk and seal it.
Okay. All right. So if you just throw it in there, it's probably not good.
No, it's not good. It looks bad.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, now that is important to me. Okay. Go ahead. What else do we need to do for a house in springtime now? Are we about it?
Well, that's really the big things that you need to do. Most things we do on a yearly, annual, just year-round keeping up. Up in the northern states, you got spring cleaning. We don't have to deal with that because we've got all year to do stuff.
Right. That's true. So I'm also going around so this is so funny. You're gonna love this. One of my commercials I did the other day for you. I sat down. I was outside of the house and I said, "See this right here? This is the dryer vent. We all know what that is. This is my stackables." And I said, "Right here is there a pipe." The pipe that goes from here, the laundry out, right, going to the out, goes 17 feet, and it joins to, and I made up the stupid, I don't know what I'm talking about. You know that, and I know that. I'm like, it goes to this valve, the master valve. What the hell am I talking about? So, but, it goes to the, what's that called? Like the pipe that everything goes to, and then eventually goes out. You know what I mean? The big one down the hole. I got to stop talking.
Are you talking about the sewer pipe?
Yes. Well, yes. So the pipe that's under the house, where it drains from the laundry room and it goes, under the house, obviously, and it goes to like the big pipe that goes all the way to the master, going towards the out, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So I can't describe any of this stuff. So I said, I got that right before Christmas, and I said I wanted to put a bow on and tell the kids Merry Christmas. This is your Christmas present. I was so pissed because I had to spend so much money. It's not cheap. Doesn't matter who you do it from. I mean, it is. Jim, it's like, what is it? Way back when we talked, isn't it like $300 a feet to dig, just to dig? Or what is it now? Like more than that, roughly, if you guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was like years ago. So the point being is, you dig per foot, it's a price, and it is, no matter who you use. And if you don't use the wrong people, I had a friend that you helped me with. But we'll go into that in a second. But the point is that you guys dug 17 feet under, you replaced the pipe, and that was it. And what would piss me off is I couldn't see it. I spent all this money for this thing, and I can't even see it. It's just like it never happened. But you guys also
I get that a lot. A lot of what I do, when you're finished, you don't really see it. And
that's good, actually, too, right? You don't want to see it. Right?
You don't want to see what I do.
I just wanted the physical representation to be always present. Like I wanted it to be mounted or something. But yeah, plumbing's not necessarily pretty, but it's essential. You guys also put in what are they called? What are those things called for the foundation? The Faye knows, she used to work with you guys, my wife. What are they called underneath the foundation?
Piers. Struggle for a little bit.
Yeah, yes. Watch me squirm. It's working. Piers, right, under the home. And do you always have to do that when you replace like 17 feet of pipe like that?
The thing is, if you're tunneling up underneath the foundation and you don't put some underpinning, it's impossible to put the soil back the way it was.
Yes.
It's going to settle in that area. It's going to widen out.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, your foundation is going to be moving. And when I say before you know it, typically in 2 years, you can see exactly where that tunnel was dug.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Yes. So how do you guys pack it back as tight as you can as far as for the soil to stay where it needs to be? I think you even left it a little bit of a mound because doesn't it settle? It has to right.
Yeah, it's going to settle and recompact itself. But then we also underpin the foundation, or we give you the option to. Bluntly, some people think they're going to save some money, and I don't need that underpinning. Yes, you do. You're going to pay for it now, or you're going to pay for it later. It needs to be there.
I have a dear friend from my Sunday school class who went with somebody and it didn't work out. Then went with somebody else. It didn't work out. I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to call Due West. And I called you for help not too long ago from a friend of mine. And do you want to tell from what you know from what I told you about how it went down and what the problem was, or do you want me to say it and then you can just tell me your?
No, I'm gonna let you, because to be honest with you, I've got so many
cases. Yeah,
things like that happen.
No, that's okay. So my friend hired a plumber. The plumber was going, they had to do, as you know, Jim, you do this with your company, Due West Foundation of Plumbing. The plumber was going to either go through the floor, jackhammer through the floor of a concrete foundation, or go underneath. And they chose to go underneath. The diggers, they dug and they left a massive mound of dirt. And in fact, in the pictures I saw, Jim, that I didn't get to show you the pictures, but the pictures showed that the dirt was up against the wall of the house, the outside wall of the house, or the brick, whatever. And it was up above where the line of concrete where it goes into brick. And so they woke in the middle of the night. They got a beautiful little baby girl, and they got two little boys. I mean, this is so wrong. In the middle of the night, it started flooding up in the house. The floorboards were all coming loose. It was coming out from underneath the kitchen's countertops. I mean, this is an insane nightmare. I was so mad and so upset for them. And you told me, what did you say to me? And how could that have been fixed, done right?
They blocked the drainage for the yard for when it rains. And so when it started raining, and in between every house, you'll notice like where your fence is. That it's low, and that's to take the water out. And when you're doing these tunnels, you got to watch the weather, and you got to watch where you put the dirt, because if you don't allow the water to drain out through those trenches, you're basically creating a dam, and that water's gonna go somewhere.
And it went right underneath, right in that area, because Jim, when the foundation comes up and then it meets the brick where the weep holes are, right? That's where, if water goes up to that level, it's going to come in the house, right? Or underneath the house?
Yeah. Well, above the weep holes, if it gets up to the top of the weep hole, that's when it'll start coming in the house, because the brick is typically about 1.5 inches lower than the floor level inside the house. That's called a brick ledge. Okay. And so you've got that much play, but quite frankly, you get the water get up anywhere near there. Yeah. You got moisture getting onto stuff.
And then, Jim, you were great because you helped counsel me for my friend. And, he's because the plumbing contractor was blaming the diggers, or whatever what do they call it, diggers or whatever, the people who were excavation people. And what was your response to that, to anybody, when the plumbing company says, well, it's not us, it was our subcontractor? What do you say to that?
The contractor who hires the sub is responsible.
That's it. That is it. And then so you, and the insurance company.
Let's go down that road just real quick, if you don't mind, because if you get into a legal issue, the contractor you hired is who you would end up suing. Now, if ultimately that subcontractor was responsible, then your contractor or his insurance is responsible to subrogate back against that subcontractor.
Okay.
But whoever you contracted with is who you go after.
And that's Texas law, or is that just kind of the custom?
Well, I don't know about Texas law. That's just...
You and I mean, together we got to have some kind of a law degree.
Yeah, it's called the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, exactly right. Jim, I appreciate you very much, and I want everybody to know that you guys have been my foundation in plumbing for over 11 years in this house. I didn't buy it until you approved it with the static test and foundation inspection, where your son Johan said, "Hey, your house is on the bubble, but if you do this and this and this, you'll be okay." And here we are, 11 years later, and hallelujah, I'm good. I know I'm going to get the royal bone some point where the rest of the pipes are going to have to replace. I'm going to be calling you and begging you, Jim, can I help dig? What can I do? Can I give some marrow, some blood, some plasma? But it is what
I
it
think
is.
we've had this conversation yet. You need to be setting some money aside for that.
That's exactly right. And one more thing, you always say the plumbers you should use a plumbing company that also does foundation and a foundation plumbing company that also does plumbing, right?
You really need to, because foundation problems and plumbing go hand in hand. The two major things, and you happen to have both of them at your house, that cause foundation problems: big trees,
Yep.
and cast iron sewer pipes.
Yep. I'll start digging now. I'll save a little money. I'll call you when it happens. Jim Dutton,
I'll loan
Texas
you
Home.
some shovels.
What's that?
I'll loan you some shovels.
I know what you're going to do. You're going to sit down. You're going to have your temporary office set up right there. You're going to sit down with a little desk and sit on a Home Depot 5-gallon can like you talk about, or upside down pail, and you're going to just be doing your business and watching me dig and laughing. Jim Dutton, Due West Foundation Repair and Plumbing, Due West, du-west.com. If you want the best, call Due West. Thank you, Jim.
Take care.
Take care. Have a great night. There he goes. Always a blast talking to my friend Jim. In fact, it is time for me to tell you about some other folks out there. And by the way, in just a minute, I'm going to get into, we have Epic City just got there was an injunction. It's more news about Epic City being stopped, but it's not permanent, but it's good news. Also, we have, oh my gosh, which Texas cities in North Texas did Ramadan proclamations? And we have the scandal for Dallas City Hall. Miss Wokula, a.k.a. Kimberly Beiser Tolbert, the city manager for Dallas, is in big trouble. And I'll tell you why. All that's coming up next. But first, this show is brought to you by Randy Martin, my friend Randy Martin from IRSprob.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. IRSprob.com. That's IRSprob.com. 214-214-3000 is their number. 214-214-3000. If you want a tax planner, if you own a business, if you have issues with taxes, back taxes, any problems with the IRS, go to IRSprob.com, Randy Martin. And then you just heard from Jim Dutton from Due West Plumbing and Foundation Repair. What I love about this business is, first of all, my wife worked there for 3 years. Second of all, and we love the Duttons. And second of all, they've done all my plumbing and foundation for over 11 years in this home that I'm in, and they're the best. And you know what? No company is perfect, and I tell you, anytime there's been anything, it's fixed and it's taken care of because they are the best. Due West, du-west.com, or call 972-406-0912, 972-496-0912. Okay, now I want to get into this. I have the North Texas courts injunction. This is from the Dallas Morning News. They actually wrote this up. Very interesting story here. Okay, first of all, let me just get into this. Epic City has not been stopped. Epic City and the Islamic people that are pushing this through Epic City, a.k.a. the Meadows, are not going to stop until they get their way. It is unthinkable, but I truly believe that Epic City will become a no-go zone eventually. They want to have one massive compound, as if they're a Muslim city in Syria or Afghanistan or Pakistan or, you name it. And it's alarming. And if you're alarmed, you should be. And I'm not trying to be alarming, but you should be. So there's some extra injunctions, some extra things that have happened recently that are good news that came out today in the Dallas Morning News as well as today in the Dallas Express. Let me share them with you. The injunction, a brand new one, was issued against R Municipal Utility District, or MUD, as well as purported members of its board. They're in trouble. I'll tell you why in a second. What is a MUD, Municipal Utility District? You have the property. You want to build sewers and the sewer system and what's it called, engineering for the leveling of the topography or whatever, drainage and stuff. And then you eventually, when you get the houses built, you can then get a municipal utility district can then get, I don't know if it's bonds or people that as you buy the houses, you get reimbursed, or through taxes you get reimbursed for what you built. They did things wrongly, horribly, and in secret, according to Ken Paxton, our Attorney General. Here we go. Not only was an injunction issued against RR Municipal Utility District, also its purported members of its board. The ruling that happened yesterday, Monday, calls for the district to cease service to any lands. Again, I'm not claiming victory. This is not a victory. It's a little bit of progress, but not a victory. The company that backs this is Community Capital Partners, the Islamic City. They had not received utility district approval, no utility district approval, or other necessary permits to begin construction. Quite simply put, this is not some third world country. And let me tell you something. If you go to Epic Mosque, like I did, when they're supposed to have that meeting for Epic City Mosque, right before the first injunction was issued, there is a lot of money there. There is a lot of money. I would have guessed the homes are 700 to 1.2 million. I was told they're even 2 million, actually. All the houses on all the streets around the mosque that I saw are all Islamic houses. The houses are gorgeous. They're beautiful. I've showed you some pictures. I don't know if I have some of them up still. I can't keep a million photos on standby here, but I've shown you the pictures. You're looking at, and all the cars pulling up, and all the cars in the neighborhood, you're looking at Mercedes-Benz, all sorts of really, really nice cars, and a lot of money. The question is, where's all this money coming from? Where's all the money coming from, and why does this mosque, and I do have the mosque here in my repertoire of photographs, why is this mosque building a city? Why is this mosque building a city? Have you ever heard of a church building a city? People would go apoplectic. The only example that I could ever make up, and I don't know if this happened, but you got Utah is massively Mormon. You might have what you consider a Mormon city somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but you can't build a city that's for a certain religion. That's illegal. Let me continue on, though. Ken Paxton alleged that the original board members for the district resigned in favor of new leaders in September. The new members then annexed 400 acres where the meadow, Epic City, would be built. Board members did not meet state qualifications to serve. Board members, this is critical right here, board members must own land, the Dallas Morning News reports, or be registered to vote within the district. They have to own land or be registered to vote in the district. Documents returned to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality showed that 5 members lived outside of the district and did not appear to have a valid deed for a property within the district, Paxton's lawsuit alleged. A trial for the lawsuit is currently set for November. This is really bad and seedy, and the more bad and seedy it is, the better it is for us to stop this. We have figured them out. We have found them out. People say, Chris, how do we stop this? You show up at every meeting. You speak out at every meeting. You call every elected official in every municipal utility district, every water district, every county official, and you tell them to stop this or you will vote them out. We always do things respectfully, lawfully, and firm but yet respectfully. Continuing on, a trial set for November. The judge's ruling comes a week after Hunt County officials rejected a preliminary plat application for Epic City, but they made it very clear. The only reason we unanimously rejected this is because the paperwork and stuff was done wrong. It has nothing to do with religion, because if they say it's religion, they can get sued. And isn't it funny that they want to have a city based on Islam, a Muslim city, but yet, and we do have to be worried about, you can't stop something because of faith, because then whoever's in charge gets to pick what faith is bad and what faith is good. Continuing on, this is from Dallas Express a little bit further. Paxton scores major win. Temporary injunction stops Epic City development in Hunt and Collin counties. This is from today, Dallas Express. The order blocks RR Municipal Utility District. It also voids their prior actions, anything they've done prior, which is very good. Paxton's lawsuit accused the district of its board of unlawfully taking over an existing utility district and trying to expand boundaries to help Epic City avoid state review. So, let's say that again. Unlawfully taking over an existing utility district and trying to expand the boundaries to help Epic City avoid a state review. Are you kidding me? And by the way, one thing that we've learned with Islamists and with Islam when they're doing things wrong is if it looks bad, it is bad. If something looks wrong or suspicious, it is wrong or suspicious. Trust them what they say and what they do with their actions. This is also unfortunate. This is from Texas Scorecard today. Texas cities approve Ramadan proclamations. Surprise, surprise, surprise. McKinney, DeSoto's a little bit of a surprise. Richardson, with its Islamic mayor, Amir Omar, and Cedar Park. The city of McKinney. Ramadan proclamation states that the season marks the first revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. It was signed by Mayor Bill Cox. Cox is a professed member of First United Methodist Church of McKinney and cites this as a reflection of his strong faith. Well, we know that Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. We know that Islam is a false religion. We know that the Prophet Muhammad is nothing. He's not a prophet. He was a man and a lot of vile things. We know about him and minors and such. But can you believe this? McKinney said the season marks the first revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. They're like literally legitimizing Islam. And by the way, you can be respectful. You can be respectful. But this is legitimizing it and endorsing Islam through the city of McKinney. It marks the first revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. They are literally legitimizing, quote, the Prophet Muhammad, quote. Let me ask you a question. A serious question. Do you think that the city of McKinney would ever do, Easter's coming up, it's Holy Week, do you think that the city of McKinney would ever do a proclamation marking that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior and died and rose again on the third day? That's what this would be like. And by the way, for Bill Cox to say he's a member of the First United Methodist Church of McKinney and cites this as a reflection of his strong faith, the whole idea of having, like you have these interfaith coalitions, that is not good. You don't have to attack or belittle or attack people or their faith, but what you do need to say is the truth. As my pastor, Dr. Robert Jeffress, says, if you own a house and it's on fire and there's only one way to escape, do you tell them which way to escape so they can live, or do you not so you don't offend them? There's only one way. It is not through Islam. It is through Christianity and through Christ. There are no multi-faith things that are legitimate. That is literally bastardizing what Jesus said. Richardson Mayor Amir Omar, his proclamation of Ramadan, and had Imam Saeed Purcell of Mas, Dallas, I guess Muslim American Society, Dallas, I don't know, with epic plain, and listen to this. This Richardson's mayor and their imam is attacking people like you and me who are standing up to Epic. Watch this. Richardson Mayor Amir Omar's proclamation on Ramadan, Imam Saeed Purcell of Mas Dallas stated, with Epic, East Plano Islamic Center, and everything else going on, these sorts of public recognitions of Islam are very vital because they help raise awareness. See, he is the victim. Islam is the victim. You understand? That's how this guy is rolling. I'm not saying they as in everybody, but that's how these guys are rolling. They're rolling as in, I'm the victim, and we're going to build an Islamic city, and if you don't like it, we're going to be the victim, and you're going to be the bad guy. That's how you Islamicize a country, an area, a nation like in Britain and in France and in Germany. As of now, only one confirmed proclamation of this is all Texas Scorecard today. Great job. As of now, only one confirmed proclamation of the Christian season of Holy Week has been made by a Texas mayor in 2026. They don't say which one. Now we're going to get into Dallas City Hall. because this is some wild stuff. I think that you're going to see the city manager. I think you're going to see the city manager within a year resign, or some kind of a serious investigation, and she's gonna be thrown out of a job, because this is unbelievable what we're seeing. Watch this. Kara Mendelson, one of the few commonsensical city council members in the Dallas City Council, District 12. She represents North Dallas. Now, as you know, a big bombshell came out. I played you the audio yesterday of the Dallas Mavs CEO saying, Rick Welch saying that city manager Carolyn Beiser Tolbert said, quote, Kimberly Beiser Tolbert said, quote, told the team during arena talks, look, I got to move out of City Hall. I can't afford to operate what we do in that building going forward for the taxpayers, over a year ago. Which the city council is all saying, we didn't even know about this. You didn't tell us about this, and you're already trying to sell City Hall a year ago with the Mavs? So that came out yesterday. I played you the audio of that and the video of that. But now today, it turns out, from Carol Mendelson, it turns out that the city, 3 years ago, Mendelson says, the city of Dallas spent $4.5 million to replace the City Hall heating system, including new boilers and asbestos remediation. She attaches the memo on this. First, she says, maintenance was happening at City Hall, even if some want to claim otherwise. This memo proves it. Second, Mendelson says, major upgrades were completed in 2023. This was not a minor fix. It included boilers, piping, asbestos remediation, all done while staff continued working in the building. That is standard practice and handled safely as a matter of routine. So to me, I'm sitting here reading this and highlighting it and taking some notes today, and I'm thinking, I smell fraud, is what I wrote here. My horrible handwriting while I'm working out on the other side of this wall. I smell fraud. I smell fraud. I smell possible crime. Mendelson goes on. She says, third, the new boilers come with a 25-year manufacturer warranty. That makes it very concerning that the recent $329 million estimate to repair City Hall includes removing and replacing these new systems along with related piping, ductwork, and electrical components. Why would brand new, warranted systems be included for replacement? Who defined that scope? Was the condition independently verified? Lastly, Mendelson says several of us are calling for an independent assessment by a firm with no ties to downtown development interests or prior project stakeholders. City Hall should be maintained by a durable civic standard like a courthouse or airport. It does not need to be rebuilt for luxury specifications. Also, Mendelson says leaving City Hall means relocating 911 and emergency operations. That has a real cost and operational implications. More on that soon. She's got more to deliver on this. Here's the thing. They spent $4.5 million and got a 25-year warranty on heating system, boilers, asbestos removal, and now they're saying all of a sudden that they need to spend money on the same thing? This is wild. This is wild. This is bad for Kimberly Beiser Tolbert, who I call Miss Wokula. Here's a little bit more from the Dallas Express today. Adam Bazaldua, who oversees, I think, District 8, it is typically has the highest homicide volume of any district from my last recollections and my checking from several years ago. Adam Bazaldua is also right in this. He says, I feel that we have been, he accused City Manager Tolbert of lacking transparency. I feel that we have had an extremely dishonest conversation with the public to this point. Dallas Express quotes CBS News, Texas. The discussion occurred before Tolbert briefed city council members according to records. So she's talking about selling City Hall to the Mavs before she talked to anybody in city council. Our city manager took it upon herself to bring City Hall's real estate on the market by having that conversation, and that conversation was had prior to any council action, Bazaldua told CBS. Lastly, Bazaldua says, I know for a fact that no one on our council took any action that gave the city manager that authority. To insert herself in a process that should have been done with much more transparency is very concerning to me. So there you go. You got a scandal. You got a serious scandal now. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And I will be surprised if Kimberly Beiser Tolbert, a.k.a. Miss Wokula, will be here in a year, because I can't see her standing after this. This is unbelievable. And I think the more they learn, the worse it's going to be. And when you have the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks saying she said this to me and she met with me, the whole fix was in. And every study and everything she's done or commissioned is totally suspect now, because she had an agenda before it appears before anything was done in earnest. I want to take a moment to talk about former Gateway Church pastor Robert Morris, who was just released from prison today. I want to get real on this. It's important to me. Former Gateway Church pastor Robert Morris completes jail time for molesting 12-year-old, now on 9.5 years probation, the Dallas Express reports. Morris, who grew the South Lake Church, Gateway, into one of the nation's largest congregations, pleaded guilty last October to molesting Cindy Clemshire. The abuse began in 1982 when she was 12 years old. He faces 9.5 years of probation and a lifetime registration as a sex offender. He lied. He lied and he lied and he lied, and his sin eventually caught up with him, as it always does. And sometimes it doesn't catch up with you until you're in heaven, or hell. But he lied and he lied and he lied. Oh, I had a dalliance with a woman. It was wrong. It wasn't a woman. You raped a little girl. They can't consent at 12. Lie and lie and lie. A whole church, mega church, built on a lie. The most important thing for me, said Cindy Clemshire, the victim, the most important thing for me was that he pled guilty to all 5 counts, and that he served some amount of time, she told CBS News Texas. And while most people think it's not enough, for me it ensured that he would spend time behind bars. And I'm glad he did. That's me saying that. Court records show Morris will complete his probation at his $1.5 million lakefront home in Palo Pinto County. He must report to a probation officer. He used to be an advisor of Donald J. Trump, and now he's an unemployed pastor who's a liar and a convicted sex offender. I have a beautiful woman down the street, a widow who's elderly, old enough to be my mom. Actually, the same age as my mom. She went to Gateway. And the amount of disillusionment and hurt and all sorts of things that Robert Morris did by building a church on a lie. And now he's been found out, and now he's been convicted, went to prison, and come out now. Several lawsuits persist, and I support them. Clemshire and her father accused Morris and Gateway of covering up the abuse, and I believe them, and defaming her by implying fault. That's exactly right. Defaming her by implying it was her fault. That's what rapists say. They blame the woman. The church rejects these claims. Morris has sued Gateway for over an alleged retirement package worth $600,000 to $800,000 annually for him and his wife. The church says, we deny that promise. Look what that sin did. Blew up a massive church. This from the Dallas Morning News, just a few lines from them today on this whole Robert Morris, Cindy Clemshire molestation rape deal. Former South Lake mega pastor, Dallas Morning News says today, was indicted on child sex abuse charges in 2025, March. He was sentenced to a 10-year suspended sentence. He agreed to pay Clemshire $270,000 after he pleaded guilty. I hope she doesn't have to pay any taxes on that. Clemshire filed a defamation lawsuit against Morris, good, and his wife, Gateway, and church leadership, saying statements incorrectly framed the abuse as an inappropriate relationship. He lied and he lied. I'm glad she's suing for defamation. A jury trial for the case is scheduled for June 2026. I hope she wins. Congressman Mark Vesey, this guy is such a tool. He toured the ICE detention center in Alvarado. Why? Was he touring to meet the ICE officers who Antifa, liberal Democrat leftist Antifa people tried to murder? No, he was touring it because he wants to say something bad about ICE and attack it. He said physical conditions within the facility were good. Shocker. But there are concerns about a lack of prompt medical services or communication provided for detainees. He doesn't represent Alvarado. What county is Alvarado in? Is it in like Ellis or Johnson? Wait, hold on. Let me figure this out. I should have done this before. What county is Alvarado in? Kaufman, maybe? Johnson County. I was right on that on one of the guesses. He represents Dallas and Tarrant County, parts of it. But there he is. It's his right to do it. But anyways, as far as the president's comments a few weeks ago saying we are only going after the bad guy, VC says, we have a lot of people here with no record and they're being deported. Hey! Maybe there's somebody in there that got busted for shoplifting. You don't think he's the worst of the worst. Well, that makes me think about the sweet young woman, Sheridan Gorman, who was shot and killed by an illegal. He was in Chicago. He was an illegal, welcomed by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson. And they got busted for shoplifting. And what did the city of Chicago do? They didn't do nothing. After he killed Sheridan Gorman, then he's in prison and all sorts of stuff. The worst of the worst. So VC, the guy that murdered Sheridan Gorman in Chicago, was a shoplifter before he murdered her. You're damn right we're getting every illegal out that we can, whether they committed a crime or other than coming here illegally, which is a crime. You're damn right we're getting them out of here. An unprecedented invasion begets an unprecedented deportation. Now, here, this is from WFA TV Channel 8 today. The shortage of immigration judges amid growing deportation concerns in Texas. What we're seeing is a mass deportation machine that's really impacting Texans by a disproportionate number, said an immigration attorney. Yes, you damn right. It's disproportionately affecting Texas because we're a border state with a lot of illegals in it. Yes, that's a good thing. He says because, yes, we're not seeing raids in Texas, but we're seeing a focus on driving while undocumented violations. You mean driving while illegal? And that's what nabbed up poor Omar, some illegal named Omar, who graduated from SMU, brought up from Mexico at age 11, pulled over by Lubbock police for an illegal lane change. During the stop, officers contacted ICE. Good job, Lubbock PD. Thank you. The conditions are not great, he says. Blah, 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 blah. So, well, sir, it's not an SMU dorm. So that's all I have to say about that, y'all. Okay, this is Croc Talk with Chris Croc. It's brought to you by IRSprob.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in controversy, IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. And I will see you tomorrow for the show. Mañana. Have a great evening, y'all.